Hey, welcome everybody. I am so excited to be back with you. Gone for a little bit, but you know what? I am back in the saddle now. Had some things go on, as life does, right? But I want to talk to you today about people who make a name for themselves, a brand for themselves, people in the real estate and lending community that I so much like to talk to. Now, as you know, Smart Money Moves is about people who shake and jive and move in money making ideas, and I want to bring those people to you. So today, I have a special guest, and this is the Great Dane. This is Chris Sizzle. And welcome to Smart Money Moves. I am Michelle Walker, and let's welcome Chris to the show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so glad. I'm so glad that you could come. And, you know, like I said, I was watching you on social media, and I know that your involvement in the real estate community has been pretty heavy. So let's just start by going over, like, how'd you get started? Like, what made you get into real estate? And then tell us a little bit about that story and how long you've been doing it.
Well, I got licensed coming up March of this coming year. I'll be licensed for 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, at the time I was working for Coca-Cola. I was a route salesman in Yosemite, Oakhurst, North Fork. The mountain route was my Mariposa. The mountain route was my route.
Gotcha.
And that job was about 16 plus hour a day job,
Mm.
5, 6 days a week. So it was taking a toll on me. At the time, the wife and I, we purchased a rental house just about a block away from our house. And, I liked dealing with the rental. I liked being a landlord at the time. I just thought real estate was super interesting. So I literally just dropped everything and jumped into real estate, both feet. So went out, got the license, and I started off over, the company's not around anymore, over at C. Watson back in the day.
Oh, I remember C.
Yeah.
Watson. Yeah, that was the office was right around over here too.
Yeah, right on Palm.
Yeah.
Cynthia Champy, she's still
Yes.
floating around. I think she
Yes.
licensed more than half of the agents here
Probably
in town. Yes.
huge list of realtors that were on
I
that
went
were
to a
about that
career night
company.
with her, and she was like, "Well, do you want to hang out and check?" And I was like, "Nope, nope, no, I don't need to know anything. Just sign me up for the classes. Let's do this."
Okay. And you know, so many times I hear about with the people that I've spoken to about how they just drop everything, their 9 to 5s and jump into the business. Right. And do you think like when people do that, that's like the necessary attack method if you really want to be successful? Because you see the part-time people, you see people, oh, I'll do it a little bit on the side, or I'll maybe dabble in a little real estate, dabbling in real
Yeah,
estate. Have you ever heard like, can't dabble in real estate?
it's
If
a
you
full
want
time
to
job
make
for
it,
sure.
you've got to dedicate, you've got to commit, you've got to put everything you've got into this. So the success stories typically come from people who just abandon what they know and jump in. So
Typically, the dabblers, you only
were
see
you
them
ready
dabbling.
to make that excellent move?
I quit the job. I quit my job,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of stayed at home and did the courses and studied for the test. And it was, I kind of enjoyed the time because at the time I got to be the stay at home dad. So I
Okay.
got to do all the field trips and the parent teacher conferences and all the sporting events. So hang out with the kids, which was time I had missed before. But yeah, for me, if I didn't jump full force into it, I'd overthink it,
Mm.
and then I would second guess myself, and then I wouldn't do it.
And that's why we're
So
friends.
it was easier to just jump in and just go for it.
Yeah, you have to. I think too, I am an overthinker as well. I don't, you know, uh, what is that? There's a special saying, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but you just mentioned something about family, stay home dad, all of that. And when you had the idea of getting into real estate, like was your family like your motivation? Was it, hey, I want to build a legacy, I want to be in control of my time? Like what were some of the things that really, besides liking to be a landlord and knowing that you wanted to get into real estate, like I know a lot of times it's like the freeing up and the leveraging of your time and your money could be a huge motivator, and real estate can do that for you. Was that something that
Well, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because everyone tries to get into real estate at first thinking, oh, I make my own schedule, I'll have plenty of
tell
time,
us?
more time with the family, more time. It's not necessarily true. So, because you're now you're in business for yourself,
That's correct.
you're self-employed, you end up putting in more hours and more time. But at the very beginning, the thought was, yeah, I gotta have more time with the family, a little easier on the body than throwing cases of soda around. It's more desk time. At the time you're thinking it's more desk time. People are just gonna call, and you're just gonna go out and show homes, and it's gonna be a good time. Well, the reality is that life is a little bit different than that. Well, once you get in,
Yeah,
it does take dedication and hard work and time. You get out of it what you put into it.
of
So the
course.
more time you put into it, the more you get out of it in the long run.
Yeah, and I just think, a lot of times, and something so lucrative as real estate and in, our industry, it does take, there's a serious level of commitment, but the reward is excellent.
The reward is
The
nice.
reward is excellent. Sure, it's stressful. Sure, you have your crazy clients and you have people that, don't really want to take your suggestions and do all that. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest reward too is helping people get into homes, right? And what they say, that the saying I couldn't remember that I remember now is where much is given, much is required.
Yes.
Where much is given, much is required. You have to dedicate. You have to go all in. But to build a business for yourself and to build a name like the Great Dane, right?
And then once you have the time in,
Yeah,
then you could step back and then you could start basically enjoying some of the fruits of your labor and taking that little bit of time and altering and fussing with your
sure.
schedule a little bit. But it does take a few years to build up that clientele,
Of course.
um,
Of
to
course.
get to that
Nurture
point.
relationships,
Exactly.
building clientele, earning trust, and those are all parts of smart money moves, right? Because people who make smart money moves get smart money rewards.
Exactly.
Right? Now, as your business evolved, as your time in the industry and you built that and you gave it all and did you ever build a team or grow like so you could leverage your time? Or tell us some ways that you helped maybe manage time in your business so that you could do other things that generated more business. What does that look like for you?
So I want to say I hired on an assistant about 5, 6 years ago.
Uh-huh.
She has since left me and is doing better and greater things. But then I hired a new one, my current one, Erica Otero. You're out there listening, but she's been a fantastic assistant. So she's been my right hand person
Mm.
for probably the last 3 years now,
God, it's
and she's
great.
been fantastic. So she frees up a lot of my time. She does the things I'm not so good at, and she is good at. That way, it
That's
frees up the time for me to do things that I enjoy doing and I'm better at.
yeah.
So it's a nice combo. I do not have a team, but she does pick up a lot of my slack for me.
Okay. And I guess it's so true, finding the person that can help you the right fit, to as in regards to an assistant or a teammate or somebody that helps you. And it does help you be able to free up your time to go out and generate more business
And it
and
frees up my time for my clients as well too. So if I'm really busy with one, say, set of clients, she could pick up the slack where maybe I'd be like, can we reschedule for this date or this time? We don't have to reschedule those people. Those people get the attention that they need, and they get to go see the home that they want to see,
right.
or have someone present for home inspections or pest inspections or whatnot, and they don't feel like they got left out or left behind for somebody else.
Okay.
So
Yeah. And, okay, so let me ask you a question then, because I think a lot of people want to know, um, Chris, how do you handle um, things like those types of things in a real estate transaction, like in inspections, appraisals? Are you a hands-on, like get in there and I want to be the one to, I'm sure that you are, but like tell us, what separates you, like what in your mind tells you, like, I've got it, this is how I serve my clients best. Like,
I tend to be a little bit of a control freak,
it's okay. I think
and
it's necessary.
it works out well for me. So
Yeah.
I show up to all the pest inspections, all the home inspections, the appraisals. I'm there at the appraisal with my comps, the contract. It's amazing how many times the lender doesn't send the contract off to the appraisal management company, or the appraiser doesn't
I
have
don't
it
do that. I
or
stand
can't
there.
remember it to bring it. I have the or they forget a counter. So then they think, oh, I'll
Right.
just appraise it at this price. This is the purchase price. It's a fair value. And they don't see the counter where the price is different.
Right.
So I bring out the contract, the comps, and updated, a list of all the upgrades and updates to the home. So I try to maximize what I can. I mean, the appraisal's out of my hands, but I try to put the home and its best foot forward with that appraiser, hoping and praying that it goes our way, which it does the vast majority of the time.
Yeah.
Although we're not insanely crazy on pricing, but it's within the realm of realistic prices. But I want to make sure that that seller gets the best bang for their buck that they can.
Absolutely. And that's just a dedication to your clients, right?
And
Whether
then if something bad happens, they find something, God forbid, on the home inspection or pest, you don't have to wait 3 or 4 days for the report to come in. You could actually start getting on that problem immediately.
well, that's good. Yeah,
So
and then there's no time lost. That and your attention to detail speaks volume to your clients too. So I too tend to can be a little bit of a control freak in regards to my business and with my attention to detail and making sure that nothing gets missed, especially when it comes to like pre-approving people. So I get that, and I always see that about you. I've heard, although you and I don't know each other that well, and I'm sure that will change. um uh you are a name to be reckoned with in this industry, and because of who you are and how you dedicate yourself to your clients. So tell us now some of the challenges that you see out there as far as this market is concerned. You know, I know like there's problems with me, like everybody knows rates are awful. And there's all this talk of whether or not Jerome Powell's going to be fired and we're going to be and rates are going to come down. Like the crystal ball is broken at this point, right? So and I get a little political sometimes. Like what do you see as challenges in the real estate side on the market out there that people can maybe overcome? Or
I feel like you've been in the business
I
for
have.
long enough. We've seen this before.
Oh, the ebb,
It's
the
a
flow. We
little,
talked about
it's a
that.
little different.
Yeah.
I like to use the word different. So it's just different.
Yeah. Not challenging. Just different.
Typically supply and demand, when the rates are low, the supply goes, or the demand goes up. And when there's more housing on the market, lower, higher rates, usually the demand goes down a little bit and prices adjust. We're kind of at the price, rates are up, which they're not historically high.
No, and
They're
on
just,
the
we're just
average,
spoiled with the twos and threes of COVID, right? So, I mean, my first home was an 8%. My second home was, I think, right around 8%.
right?
I was in a 7% on my home until COVID when I refinanced it to a 3. So, I mean, they're not bad. It's just different. It's
I
just a different
agree.
market. The rates went up and then the prices really haven't done any. They really haven't gone down. They've just kind of stagnated. Maybe they're itching up just a hair.
Yeah.
So it's just a kind of a different market when the rates are up and the prices are still up. It's just different. So it's just basically,
Easing the minds
yeah, it's basically just reworking what you already know and just tackle
and
the
creating
beast.
confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Right, creating confidence to for me, like I know for me, for my clients, is giving them the overcoming of the obstacle. Right, it's like, okay, so if I can provide to you more positive reasons why this is a benefit for you, then you have fear about what's going on in the market, and you're say, like, for your clients that are on the fence about listing or selling or buying, and both sides of that. It's about overcoming the obstacles, changing the mindset, because it's still, at the end of the day, everybody is, the American dream is to buy a home.
Oh,
It's
it's the biggest thing that
Nobody is going to
creates
put that out of
generational
their
wealth.
mind forever.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest keys to creating generational wealth for your family is
Right.
home ownership. So to sit on the fence is time lost. And there's always a great time to buy for that particular person. It may not be the great time to buy for this family, but for this family, it's the perfect time to buy or sell.
Right.
So it's just finding, basically finding that the time for that person, and then working it from there.
Right. And you brought up a very good point too, creating generational wealth, right? Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I've got children that are involved in real estate now. And, one of them, my second oldest son, is getting into the wholesale and flip.
Oh, okay.
He's very excited about that. So we are very excited about that.
He's
So
probably manning the phones right now.
he is actually. So we're doing
That's a
some
lot of
things,
calls.
um, that I've learned, and I've studied people, even through different podcasts, because, and that's probably where I got the idea to do a podcast, was because I got so much information from them, people who put their information out there. So you're actually kind of dabbling in that kind of stuff, or you work with some people like that. So does that kind of thing interest you as well? Is like, I know, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, I have some pretty large flippers here in town. Most people out there that have heard of them.
Yeah, might
Um,
have.
yeah,
Just
EVC
saying.
Homes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I work with the
Great stuff they're doing.
wonderful couple. Great backstory on them. But yeah, I met them about 8 years ago through another flipper that I was working with at the time,
Uh-huh.
and we've been together since. I consider them my priority. If I find a property that that would be a good property to flip or the good
Okay.
wholesale, so they're my very first phone call. If they say no, then I go down the list. I have some other people out there, but I give them my first and foremost. They get my 100% attention right off the get go. Um, and we've had a great run of 8 years, and it's been fantastic. And they create a beautiful product that makes my life easy to sell.
Oh, right.
So I mean, it's been great. Personally, I've only kind of dabbled in it a little bit. I usually give it to them, so I don't get to touch it.
Right.
So, but
So
the
you
ones
give
that
it to
they,
them and they fix it up and you sell it.
yes, I
What
did.
a,
I did help my daughter buy a house.
that's an
She
amazing
actually
concept.
made the purchase. I flipped it for her. So that was like my first, I guess, dabble in flipping.
Yes.
So she got a house. It was horrible. It was an Aaron and Cleta style house. It was an EVC home, and I bought it. And well, she bought it, and then I flipped it for her, and then she moved in. I did.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I recently bought. Oh,
That's
I
amazing.
have 3 kids, and I got 2 of them in homes, which I helped get them in homes. So I got one to go.
Yeah.
So out of the 3, but recently I did buy a duplex with the thought, because I don't own any rentals now. I've found that I'm not a good landlord. So
That's funny.
I buy them, I put tenants in them, I enjoy them for about 6 months to a year, and then I start going crazy. I have this again. I'm
Control
OCD. I was
issues.
like, they're living in my home and they're not treating it like I would treat
Oh,
it,
that
which
is
is
the
a
tough part.
horrible way for an investor to think.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm not a good landlord. So
Well, you
I
might be for
did
the
buy the
right tenant.
duplex with the thought of putting my son in one side, my mom in the other, selling my mom's house. My son could help kind of keep an eye on
Oh,
grandma.
yeah.
Mom decided she didn't want to move, and son said he was going to go out of town for college. And I was like, okay, now I got tenant. I put tenants in it, and then I turned around and sold it. But I did flip the property, and I did make a pretty nice profit off of it.
Well, and that's just the one of the benefits of owning properties. You can decide whether or not you want to rent it and be a
Hmm.
landlord,
You could sit on
or
it, or
or
you
sell
could
it and be
unload
like,
it.
okay, I've had enough of this. Nobody's going to treat the home the way I would. Finding a good tenant is very, very hard. First of all, I have a rental property as well, and um, I actually had to, the tenant that I had out there, we had to go back in and just kind of redo everything, right? And so now I'm looking for another tenant, but it's very hard to find people that would treat a property that you put your heart and soul into something,
And take care
anything
of it.
that you buy.
And the work I did
Yeah.
to it, anybody could do.
Right.
The vast majority. The wife and I, we had pizza party with the kids came over and helped us paint. I mean, the remodeling part, pretty much anyone could do, as long as you're not getting too in depth with it, like altering rooms and removing walls and things like that. It was easy to do. That makes a property shine again.
If you had any advice for people out there that are looking to get into this industry, um, do you think that now is a good time to get into real estate for somebody getting into the business, or would you say maybe not, or because I mean, I think personally that the competitive levels have gone down. People have gotten out because it's just gotten too hard. You know what I mean? And when I got into the mortgage business, it was at a time where nobody was getting in, right? But you have to make a name for yourself regardless of when you get
Hmm.
in. So
And
what
you have to
is
put in the time.
yeah, so now you've been doing this for 23 years. Like, what would be your smart money move for people wanting to get into real estate? Or do you mentor people, or do you have anybody that, like, what is your best advice for that?
If you want to get into real estate, I think if your heart's in it and you're willing to put in the time,
Yeah,
do it. But if you can't put in 100% of your time into it and devotion and efforts, you're you'd be better off not getting into it. I don't think there's a bad time to get into it.
right.
The market again is different now.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it was easy for people to come in when the rates were 2% and 3%, and houses are flying off the market 20, 30,000, 100,000, $100,000 over asking, back in the, COVID era. I think it was easier for people to get into it, but it was also a rat race, and maybe those people felt spoiled. So now that when it's now going kind of back into a normal market,
right.
I think they're probably going, I wish I would have saved some of that money, or, or, you know, maybe reached out and kept in contact with some of those people.
Yes,
Sometimes with the rat race, you lose and you touch with your sphere, with your past clients. And that is where your bread and butter is.
it is.
So your past clients and your sphere is where 100% of your businesses come from, whether it be them as return or repeat clients,
Right.
or them referring you out
Referring you
to,
out.
to
Right.
friends in their family.
Yes.
And I'm not out there chasing down business after 23 years.
No.
It pretty much comes to me now just based off of that sphere in my past clientele, which I keep in contact with on a regular basis.
Oh, good. I mean, that is probably the best smart money move that anybody in this industry could ever make is keeping in touch. And that's easy to go chase low hanging fruit.
You can run out of your friends and
Yeah.
family real fast.
Yes.
So you have to keep in contact with
Yeah.
all the other people too.
And then, and the beauty of those nurturing those relationships over the years and doing this business is not only do you create just an amazing client base, but friends,
Yes. A lot of them
family.
become family. Yes.
Yeah, family. I mean, I can't tell you how many barbecues and birthday parties and baby showers
I've
and
had people over
weddings.
for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yes.
So I mean, it's just
And it's
they become part of your family. The kids know them.
right.
You're going to their baby showers. They're coming to your graduation parties. They end up becoming part of your core group.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, there's no greater reward, besides the monetary. That's the you know what I mean. That is that's better than
Yeah.
the monetary.
It's a
It's
people
not even
business.
about like I'm grateful, but it's more about like I love what I do and I can deal with the stress and I can handle the sometimes the roller coaster of a transaction because I know like my client trusts me. My client is or my borrower, my friend. Well, that I have their American dream
And
in
when
my
you give them
hand.
advice,
Yeah,
they take it as gospel. They take
they
it as
really
gold.
do because
Yeah.
they trust me, and I get because I give them transparent and open communication, and I'm sure that you do the same, and for your clients,
It is a people business.
right?
The whole buying and selling of homes is
Mhm.
just kind of the side hustle of the relationships.
Right.
So I mean, the better you are with treating your people right, it's almost like karma. You do right, and then the money will follow.
The law of attraction.
Yes, the money will follow,
Right.
and
Don't make it
it's
your
not always
focus.
great money.
No. Sometimes
It's
it's
not always
easy
you
money.
know, but it's not
Yeah.
it's not always bad either. So
No.
it's not good as that. But I mean, it's a nice income. It's given me and my family a very nice life.
And that's,
That from a kid that
mhm.
came straight out of the military, high school to the military to Coca-Cola, and now he's got kids through college and
How many kids
kids.
you got?
I have a total of three. two of them in homes. One's still a little young, so
Okay.
he's 20. He's going to be 21. He'll be in one soon.
Yes.
But that's me leaving them something behind as well.
Right.
So it's given us a good life.
So any of them going to follow in your footsteps, perhaps, or they got making paths of their own?
They're going to do better than me. They're going to do
Okay.
better than Dad. So they got their educations, which Dad never got,
Good.
and they're moving on and doing bigger and greater things. So
Right.
I changed their diapers once. They're going to have to change mine eventually. So
Ooh, that's what
so
we
they got to
hope.
do better. They got to do better.
Yes, we hope. God, are
Yes.
you listening to that, children
I
of mine? By the way.
I want to be taken care of well.
Yes, and I think I think that's what it's all about because I know that I'm grateful that a couple of my children are now in this industry. In fact, 3 out of 4 of mine are my daughter is my assistant, which is amazing. She also does all of my marketing stuff, which is kind of cool. Besides my dear friend over here that helps me with this podcast, and my youngest son in real estate in Colorado, and my like I said, like my oldest didn't jump on the bandwagon at all, but
Which is okay.
yeah, and he has his own path,
If
and
it's
that's
not for them,
okay.
it's not for them.
Yeah,
And my kids just didn't have it in them for it.
right.
They're just cut from a different cloth. It takes a certain kind of person to live the rat race
It does.
that we
It
do.
really does, and it's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
It's not for everybody, and that's for sure. And we'll kind of end on this note. I can tell that you're the kind of person that real estate is your business, but people are what you do,
Oh,
right?
it is a people business.
Right?
For me, it is at
Yeah,
least.
yeah. It's
It's not a transactional
loans
business at
are
all.
my job, but people are my business.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And what a remarkable thing that is to have. That is probably the smartest money move that anybody could make. So I would like to let people know that if you're interested in getting in touch with Chris about a real estate transaction or getting some information, Chris, how does somebody get a hold of you to help them in their real estate dream?
No, you're welcome to reach out to me anytime on my cell, 559-824-9452, or go to my website, thegreatdanerealestate.com.
Wonderful. Yeah. And, I will absolutely be directing some people your way. It's been an enjoyable conversation. And I'm so glad that you came out and joined me today.
No, it was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So, everybody, and if you're looking to get pre-approved for a home loan, of course, the Walker Home Loan team is here to help you at Western Pioneer Financial, and you know where to find me. All the information for Chris and for me will be in the links below. And just remember to share, like, comment, repost, do all the things because it helps me. So thanks for tuning in and make your smart money move.